the LGBTQ issue or concern, and we are going to address it from 3 different lenses. Okay, one is, and that's going to be the first one, is I want to explain to you from I want to explain to you the terms, if you will, coming from a psychology background, because I'm a therapist myself. And then hopefully Sheikh Ahmed Bello will arrive on the scene soon. And then he is supposed to talk about the Islamic view or the Islamic ideas and principles around this particular issue. And then we have Sister Shaista, who is going to address how do we handle this issue in the educational circles, okay, in the US. So this is the rough outline for, and then we're going to have some time, inshallah, for questions and answers, bi'iznillah, okay? So, subhanAllah, I just wanted to explain to you all the terms, and maybe some of you already know all the terms, but it is important always to begin with an explanation of what does LGBTQ mean. So let's hear from some of you. Yeah, okay. Here, he's here. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. I just explained what we are doing and how we're breaking it up. So let me hear from some of you. What does the L stand for? Raise your voice so we can all hear. Lesbian. Okay, and what does lesbian mean? When 2 girls are attracted to each other. Okay, and then LG, G, what's the G? Gay, and what does the gay mean? 2 men attracted to each other. Okay, very good.
I thought it means happy.
You know.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. Okay, we use it in our American lingo. We use gay to mean, yes, a person who is happy. You're right. Yeah. Okay. LGB. What does bisexual mean? When a boy and a female and a male, okay, or a male are attracted to both genders, okay. LGBT, transgender. What does transgender mean? Somebody from the youth said something. I want to hear from you. Yes? When you change your gender, or even if you don't actually change it, when you say, okay, I am not what you see, I am a different gender. Okay, so LGBTQ. What's the Q? Queer. And what does queer mean? What? No, let's avoid abnormal. If you were to tell them abnormal, they will be very upset with you, and they will maybe even sue you. So we're going to say abnormal, okay? How do they define themselves, the queer?
Like
outside of the box. So it's not defined. There is not one single definition for queer, okay? So let's go and understand the layers to all this issue. Inshallah, bismillah ta'ala. When we talk about sexuality in the US, we need to keep in mind all these different layers. So I'm going to begin from the right of the screen for you, okay, and I'm going to move to the other side, okay? So these are the different layers we have right now in the US. The first one, genes. Can someone give me a definition of what are genes? Anyone? Yes?
Chromosomal markers that tend to define a human sex, but not necessarily age.
Okay, so genes are related to chromosomes. Okay, so we have chromosomes in the nucleus of the cells of every single cell in our body. How many chromosomes do we have? Does anyone know? 46 chromosomes. Yes. And one pair of these 46 chromosomes is called the sex chromosomes. And as I'm sure many of you who have had biology, the female has X and X chromosomes, okay, and The male has X and Y chromosomes. And from a genetic basis, we have other combinations, but they are actually very rare. And I want to emphasize this. Because sometimes when people talk about the LGBTQ, they talk about, oh, it's really, they don't give you details, but they tell you it's very normal. It's actually part of the genes, okay? So I want you to understand that whatever other makeups beside the XX and the XY are actually very rare, and we need a medical doctor, okay, to actually check into that and see what needs to happen there. Do you have a question? Yes.
Yeah. Yes, they're rare, but aren't they just as common as ginger hair?
Sorry, say again?
Yes, they're rare in the overarching sense, but aren't they just as common as the other chromosomes?
No, they're not as common.
I thought it was like 0.1% or something.
You thought what?
Is it not 0.1% of the population?
I don't know that percentage, but it is not as common as the XX and XY.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah.
Oh, I said, is it not as common, the rareness, right? It's not that rareness isn't of the same probability as people having ginger hair.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that part. Okay, I'm so sorry. I have no idea. Okay, so I'm not gonna answer something I don't know. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have the genes makeup. Okay, and until we have the microscopes that can actually see into our cells, okay, this was hidden from us. So the rare situations where there are different makeups, okay, in the genes, people looked at them or identified them by looking at the next layer, which is morphology. Morphology is basically, what do I see? Yes.
So before we completely start talking about the morphology and
Yeah.
that,
Uh-huh.
can I ask a quick question about the genes?
Okay. If I have the answer, I will answer you.
So we were talking about the rare instances, which is like that's called the intersex, right? So
It's called what?
the intersex, right?
Intersex? No, that's not what I'm talking about. No. There are different medical conditions in our human population. Okay. Intersex has to do more with animals. Okay, it's not about humans, but we have different combinations of the X and Y genes.
What's the term then?
There are many different medical conditions. Okay, so I'm not gonna share them with you. Okay. Yeah.
Well, in case in point, my question is that so in that case, the community, the LGBT, that community, right? So that includes the like they use the label intersex, which that's not exactly. But case in point, it's like referring like to that, like the rare instances, right?
They emphasize the rareness, but
Now,
Mhm.
now my question here is like, do the people who like are those rare instances, like do they like how many of them actually like identify with that? Like how many of them are like don't?
That's a very good question, and I don't have the answer to that. Excellent question. And my guess is actually it's not related to the rare instances I'm talking to you about. It's a different, yeah. But again, I'm emphasizing to you when people talk about this issue, they talk and make some really big statements without giving you the details of the issue. So you need to pay attention to what you're hearing. Yeah, okay? So we come back. So we have the genes, which are hidden until they invented all these lovely microscopes that we have nowadays. And then, so with these rare instances, what people used to know or notice when the fetus is born, the infant is born, then they will see something different about their sex organs. And that's when they will start noticing, okay, something is different. Our scholars, and I want to emphasize that, our scholars, when we had an infant, whom when they looked at the infant and they couldn't identify if this infant is actually a female or a male, they looked at where is the urine coming from. Because for those who study biology, there's a difference in the urine pathway between females and males. And so use that as an identifying marker to define that this infant that we cannot tell, is he a boy, is he a girl, we're gonna look how's the urine coming out. And then we're gonna assign that particular infant that gender. Okay? So later on we understood that there are so many different things going on in the body, and we could have different combinations of sometimes having male organs inside, but you can't see it on the outside. So I don't want to confuse you with all this, but I wanted to really bring your attention to the beauty of our scholars and their knowledge. Like they found solutions to problems that came up. Okay? So morphology is, am I seeing a male, am I seeing a female? I don't think I need to go into, you all know what's the difference between a male and a female when you look at them, right? We don't need to go into that. The third layer, and this is the layer that has been recently, we had a lot of talk about, is the gender layer. What does gender mean? Gender means is how me as a person, okay, how do I see myself? Do I see myself as a female? Do I see myself as a male? Or do I see myself as something else? Okay? So it is about how I want you to treat me. It's a social label. It's a label that, okay, I want you to see me as a female and deal with me as a female, even though I could be a male. So gender is a personal, subjective experience, and it's intended for the social interactions. You're with me, or did I lose anyone so far? You're with me, okay. So we have cisgender, which very simply means that what I am asking you to treat me as, so Noha, for example, Noha wants to be treated as a female, okay, as a woman, okay. So I am a cisgender because it actually fits with my morphology, it fits with my genes. Transgenders are the people who want you to treat them or deal with them with the opposite label. Not like you see them and not like their genes. And then we have the non-binary, which you hear a lot right now, which people are objecting to. I don't want to be a male, I don't want to be a female, I just want to be a non-binary, meaning you can't restrict me in one box. Okay? And then we come, the next layer is the orientation, sexual orientation, which means who raises my sexual desire. Am I attracted to people of the opposite gender? So that would be the heterosexual. Or am I aroused? Am I attracted by people from the same gender? And then of course bisexual we all defined earlier. Now the last layer is a layer that I learned from one of my clients who was 13 years old. Really, I had no idea about this one, and because I want to emphasize in this area, every now and then we're going to get a new term, a new idea, a new fad, because actually there is a lot of fads in this field, unfortunately. So what does this one, romantic one, which means is like, who do I feel love towards? Who am I romantically inclined towards? So it could be the other gender, okay? Or it could be the same gender. So this particular layer, they want to emphasize to you that it has nothing to do with their sexual orientation. It's just about love, that I just love a person from the same gender. It doesn't mean I am a homosexual. Of course, right now, they don't want you to use the word homosexual, they want you to use I'm attracted to the same sex or the same gender. So in here, they emphasize to you that this is a non-sexual attraction. It's a romantic, it's just I want to be in a relationship with someone. So it could be other gender, same gender, or bi-romantic. Okay, layers until now. I have not kept track of time, I'm so sorry. So questions until now, any questions about this?
You say
Yes.
in the
What's the
US?
difference between genes and morphology?
Genes is the makeup of the,
Well,
yeah, and then the morphology is what you're seeing on the outside. Just because sometimes in rare occasions there could be something in the genes that you do not see on the outside, okay? Yes.
in US, or is this like applies to everyone?
These terms, they apply to anyone who picks up whatever the US is promoting. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Is it like defined by the social or medical terms?
Which one?
All these layers.
No, every layer has its own domain. Okay, so genes is more medical, morphology is also medical, more within the biology and medical field. Gender is again a social label. Okay, you decide what you want your gender to be. This is what we are going through right now. Okay, now before all of this hype about gender, what was it? What was it before? It was like if your morphology is a female, that means you're a woman. Straightforward, right? If your morphology is a male, then you are a man. You follow me? So right now, the rebellion that's happening in our circles is against that. You cannot define gender by morphology or by genes. That it has to be an individual and a choice, that a person chooses what their gender is. This is the problem that we are having right now. It's a huge problem for our youth. Yes?
Do you see the problem getting more complex than what it is right now?
You mean other layers? Okay, it's just like what happened with my client who was 13 years old, and she taught me this. When I was doing my master's degree, okay, this was 2004 through 2007, okay? At that time, we were not talking except about sexual orientation. That's it, okay? Gender, there wasn't a big deal about gender at that time. And this issue about romantic inclination wasn't on the picture even. So who knows what tomorrow is going to bring. But I want you to remember, ultimately in the end, we have guidance. And that's actually a segue for Sheikh Mohammed Bello to come in and talk about our guidance within our Islamic tradition. So I'm just gonna invite you to be strong. We have a beautiful, beautiful faith. We have beautiful guidance. We just need to go back to it, honestly. Yeah, yes.
Is it okay if I ask one last question before Chef Kumar?
Ask the question, and then I will see if I can answer it or not. Go ahead.
So, if people are saying nowadays that gender is just a social construct, then why would someone get mad if someone like, say, for example, me, were to say, oh, this is what I think about gender? Because if something's a social construct, and you have like whatever opinion you want to have about it, and it shouldn't really matter. Because if hot dogs are just like a fact, right? Like a universal like truth, then like I understand if you were to like get mad at me for having an opinion about hot dogs. But if hot dogs are just like a nebulous like social construct, like just an idea in our heads, right, and not something that we can just physically touch,
Okay.
then why should you be getting mad at me for whatever opinion and like idea that I have about this sort of thing? Because like
So your question is, and let me see if I understand your question first. Okay, you are asking why are we as Muslims getting upset about people defining their gender?
no, why are they getting mad at us?
Oh.
Or like anyone who just isn't okay with this, because like that's basically like getting mad at me for saying I don't think Bugs Bunny should wear gloves.
Yeah, because our truth is not their truth. And that is in Surah Al-Kafirun. You know how much weight does Surah Al-Kafirun, how much does it weigh out of the whole Quran? Surah Al-Kafirun is an important surah. It's 1/4 of the whole Quran in terms of like the weight of the message of Surah Al-Kafirun. And why do you think that is? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that surah is emphasizing that our truth is not going to be the truth of everybody around us. So lakum dinukum waliya din. So they get upset because we're not accepting, we're not seeing the world through their eyes. So they want us to do that. I don't know if I answered your question.
Thank you for asking my question.
You're welcome. Okay, yes.
I slightly disagree because I think there's the identity aspect where someone identified themselves as something,
Mm-hmm.
and when we say no,
Mm-hmm.
that's like punching them in the face. So from my perspective, I don't think it's about faith or anything. Like some of those people have no idea of what is faith.
Mhm.
So, and the proposition of, hey, you do not exist and I don't see you,
Mhm.
that's basically shredding them.
Mhm.
So that's my perspective on it. I don't think it has anything to do with faith. I think there is something I honestly don't see, because one of the things, like, I don't see any objective truth here. It's like I can see some objective truth, but the rest is like social constructs.
Mhm.
Some of them is I can come up with something tomorrow and it's like, oh, it's acceptable.
Mhm.
If I have the good argument that everyone accept,
Mhm.
then I can make fake stuff.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, I'm just gonna add to what you said. When I'm talking about our truth is different than their truth, I'm not necessarily talking about the literal rules of our faith. I'm talking about worldview. Okay, so in our worldview, and that's which Ahmed, please Sheikh Ahmed, come and share your thoughts here. In our worldview, we have specific ideas about all of these issues. Okay, and so that's, the worldview, our worldview, doesn't align with their worldview, and that's why it's very threatening to them and very dismissive to them. Just to your point, yes. Okay, I'm gonna hold on questions now because we need to continue with the. Please, Sheikh Ahmed. Thank you. Jazakallah khair.